My name is Adrian Nanchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. And I'm talking about what are some of the best ways that as entrepreneurs we should be learning. Now, there's an idea that the more active we are involved in the learning, whether it's actually working on the job or listening to an audiobook or working with a mentor, for example, the more we retain, the more we remember 2 weeks later, 6 weeks later, things like that. Whereas more passive ways, like reading a book, we don't remember as much. But the idea is that we need to be lifelong learning machines, because the more we learn, the more we can earn. The more value we can bring to the table, the more we can do for our business and the more we can do for our customers. So learning is very important. And remember, just because that we finished college or finished university, that we don't have to learn anymore, but we should always be learning, always be improving. Iron sharpens iron. Should always be upgrading and always learning more. So reading a book, 2 or so weeks later, we'd only remember, say, 10% of the stuff we read. But the beautiful thing about books is very scalable, very cheap, very affordable, very accessible, and you can just buy a book that someone would have spent years and years researching or years and years making mistakes or practicing, and just learn the lesson over a weekend, over a week, rather than spending years and years of learning that mistake. And there's other things in between, like giving a talk, for example. Taking what you know, putting it into a package, a presentation even, and sharing it with the world, which is what some things I plan on doing. Other things like going to audiobooks. A bit more retention than just reading a book, but still not as much. The other side to this is actually working on the business. Physically working and physically working with a mentor, physically building that business. This is why a lot of people say that they learn more in 2 years of working in a workforce or working on their business than they had learned in 2 years of studying about it at university or college or wherever. But the dilemma is, the kind of problem with working on something is that if it goes wrong, if there's a mistake, it can be quite fatal. If there's a mistake in the business or a problem, then your livelihood is at risk. I mean, it's a risk worth playing anyway. And it's a risk that you go to the territory. But the downfall is looking at the pros and the cons. If there's something wrong, if something goes amiss, then your livelihood's at risk. And all that just to learn a lesson. You're learning it the hard way. If you get a book, you're learning it the much easier, much quicker way. But the thing is, we need to be lifelong learning machines, always taking in more information, being a better person, being wiser, faster, stronger, smarter. There's an old saying that we are too soon old and too late smart. So we want to be smart before we get old. Everyone will learn the things we know now, as business or finance or marketing and all the rest. People will eventually learn anyway, 80, 60 odd years from now, but then it'll be too late. You take some of the lessons on finance in books like Rich Dad Poor Dad. People 80 years from now will eventually learn these things, but they'll learn it the hard way. They'll learn like 1% of that book, of the lesson, every year, whereas we learn the whole thing all at once. We want to be lifelong learning machines. Never stop learning, and never stop giving up either, always being persistent, because there's always something we don't know. Imagine if your fist was all the knowledge that you know, or you knew, in one 3-dimensional space. This is all the knowledge you knew. But what about the knowledge over there? Or the knowledge up there or down here? The bigger this fist is, the more knowledge it contains inside it. So we want to endeavour to always increase the size of this fist, always increase our knowledge. And there's different ways of doing it. Books, videos, lectures, doing talk videos like this. I'm learning right now. Recording my knowledge and sharing it. Writing a book even, there's an idea. I just thought of that. We want to always be learning. Because the more we learn, the more we can earn. How cool is that? So this is the first time to the channel, subscribe, because this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So subscribe, and you'll see me soon.